Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host Jennifer. Today, as promised, I am doing a review on this yarn from Hobby Lobby. And I know not all of you have access to Hobby Lobby. I know that I'm going to get that in the comments. We don't have Hobby Lobby outside of the United States. I wish that I could share my Hobby Lobby yarn with all of you. But until then, I am going to review this yarn. This is Yarntopia. The reason I found this yarn on the shelves is not because it drew my attention, because you guys know me. If you've been around for any amount of time, you know I do not go for solid color yarns. It's not my, you know what? While I'm talking, I'm going to lotion up because that seems to be an issue most of the time in my yarn reviews is my dry hands. So if I put lotion on ahead of time, although this yarn does not stick to my hands at all, but I don't want to have anything, extra that could cause problems, Let's make this as easy as a process as possible, which is why I grabbed my favorite hook. I'm also going to do a knitting sample, and I did not pull out my favorite knitting needles, so we're going to see how that goes. But I did pull out some other knitting needles that I have on hand, because I was asked why I only knit with circulars. The easy answer is that's what I prefer. They feel good in my hands. A lot of the longer or stick knitting needles, not the circular knitting needles, are really heavy when I'm knitting up something. And so just the act of holding it on the needles is, extra strenuous to me. So that's why I use the circulars. That's what's easiest to me. But today we're going to use just straight knitting needles. And yeah. So this yarn was on the shelf, and like I said, it did not particularly draw my attention because it's the color is not extraordinary. The colors are kind of like, this purple is beautiful, but it's kind of muted. The pink, same, it's kind of muted. It's not my bold, bright, variegated colors that I draw towards naturally. But I had Mr. Cinnamon with me, and I had my kids with me. And they usually are very good with helping me to find yarns that I myself am not personally drawn to. Just because I'm not drawn to them doesn't mean other people won't love them. And so that's why it's always good for me to have Mr. Cinnamon, and specifically Juju, because Juju draws me to colors and designs, and Mr. Cinnamon just draws me to whatever catches his fancy. Quite honestly, this yarn, he was going through it. I don't know what he was doing. I think him and Little Man were walking and just touching stuff and touching and touching. And sometimes they get out of hand and I have to yell at them in the store and tell them to behave. Yes, because Mr. Cinnamon does that. And that's kind of what happened. They were going through and touching, and he's all, "Jen, you got to feel this yarn." See, now that I'm sticky with the lotion, it doesn't feel that great. But when I'm not sticky, this yarn feels amazing. It is 100% acrylic, but it feels like bamboo, like high-end bamboo. It feels amazing. It feels slick and smooth and just squishy and soft. And so I knew I had to show you guys in detail. I knew I had to do a review on this yarn, because sometimes you can feel it in the ball and it feels amazing, and then it's like super splitty. Like Karen Simply Soft is splitty. And some people won't even work with Karen Simply Soft because it's so splitty. And so I'm like, I need to work with this yarn and I need to get a true feel. So I have 4.5mm hook and needles on my side, because that is what this recommends. Well, actually it says 3.5mm knitting needles. We're going to use 4.5 because I don't think I have 3.5s in the straight knitting needles. I have 3.5 in like sock knitting needles, but we're going to do 4.5. It'll be fine. It'll be all good. It'll be fine. And have my 4.5mm Furls hook. So we're going to work up some swatches, but first we're going to go into detail about the yarn. Like I said, it says it's 100% acrylic. It's a 4-ounce ball. It is 312 yards or 285 meters. It says it is a fine. Let me pull you in because Hobby Lobby's labels are teensy. So it says that it is fine number 2. These are the washi instructions, so you don't want to iron it, Honestly, I don't know what none of these symbols stand for unless I look them up. So if you guys want to look them up, like, feel free. I generally hand wash all of my stuff anyway, or I wash it on the gentle cycle on my washing machine, depending on the yarn. Just because I have ruined stuff in the past, and I don't tend to just throw it in the washer unless I know it's anti-pilling acrylic or something like that. So yeah, there's that information. This one is the color Rose. Is a very pretty. It's a little bit darker than what's showing up, but I film these videos on the table on my phone, so the quality of picture is not that great. And so this is more of a rosy color, but it's very, very pastel still. And then this is the colorway Heather. It is a very soft, beautiful purple. So I think the purple is calling to me. So I think I'm going to pull my camera back up a little bit. I'm going to work a little swatchy poo because I just need to know. I just need to know. It's very smooth. Even pulling out is very smooth. Got a little knot, but I think that was my fault. It does look like it might split a little bit because now that it's out of the skein, but I'm going to keep my conclusions till the end, but it feels like it might be a little splitty. But I noticed when you have yarns that split a lot, if you go up a higher hook size, like a bigger hook size or a bigger needle size, it stops splitting as much, or change like what kind of hook you're using. I know that some hooks have a sharper point on the top, and that can cause splitting, or a sharper peak here, and that will cause splitting. So all of these things can lead to yarn splitting. And if you change hooks, like switch to Susan Bates or Boy or Clover or Tulip or whatever you have, just switch your hooks up, switch the size. That might actually help with splitting. I'm just going to start with a split knot. Yeah, a split knot. That's a new band, Split Knot. We're just going to work up a little sample. Very, very smooth on the hook. This feels like, it's crazy because it feels like bamboo and it's acrylic. It even feels cool to the temperature. Like sometimes like bamboo will just, like the temperature of the fabric stays cool. I'm going to start with half doubles. Now this is a thin yarn. Like I said, it's a number 2. It is thin. If you don't like thin yarns, you're not going to like this. I didn't even tell you guys the price point for this yarn. I think it's $3.99. Let me check the label. $4.99. It's $4.99, but it's 312 yards. And by the feel of this, I am predicting that it is going to have nice drape. It's going to be nice to wear in the summer. I can't say that for certain because it's not summer yet, but this just feels so good in my hands. It's gliding very smooth on my hook. So far it's not splitting, but we'll get into some different stitches and see if it splits on us. Because honestly, I don't get a lot of splitting with half double crochets anyway. So far so good. Really pretty stitch definition. Oh man, this would make such nice garments. Let's do single crochets in this row. And this hook is what Furls calls a G+. So I think this is 4.25, I believe. Could be wrong. It could be 4.5, but I think it's 4.25. This is a G+. Yeah, this is delightful. It's not splitting at all. And I could tell it's feeling kind of floppy in my hand. So that usually indicates it's going to have really good drape. And I'm going to move to double crochets. When I saw this, and well, not when I saw it, because I didn't even notice it. It kind of blended into all the other solid color yarns on the shelf. But when Mr. Cinnamon was like, you got to feel this, I was like, okay, it can't be that great. But he was like insistent. And I was filming a video in the store, so I was like kind of distracted. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll be over there in a minute. You know? And so I looked over there and I was like, oh, and that was my exact reaction was, oh my God, it's so soft. And then my immediate response was, all right, what color should I buy? So he's all, I don't know, what color do you want? So I was like, the purple was calling to me. It was calling to me. And I was like, okay, well, what color goes with the purple? And that pink just, it goes with it. It's so pretty. This is, man, I'm telling you. Don't buy it full price, though. Only buy yarn from Hobby Lobby when it is the 30% off sale. I'm just going to say that right now. Although, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be real honest. The way this is feeling in my hand, the way it is working up, I fully believe that this is worth every penny of the $4.99. But, like, seriously, wait till it's 30% off. Save yourself some money. Look at that. All right, I'm going to do like a bobbly type stitch. I know I usually do the star stitch here, but I really want to see that stitch definition worked up with like this little puff stitch or whatever you call it. I don't even remember how many times I did that, but we'll see. I gotta count instead of talk. I know you guys can hear them birds outside. They're pretty loud. My window's not even open yet. The birds have been singing. There were 2 eastern bluebirds on my porch a couple of days ago. And I have been out of bird seed since the blizzard. So it's been over a month. And I've been out of bird seed and I never went and got more and, you know, whatever. And so when I saw the 2 eastern bluebirds on the porch, I was like, okay, I need to go find some mealworms. Because eastern bluebirds are kind of finicky birds. And they have to have like their nests at a certain height, and they want specific food, and they want the food held at a specific height. And I've never, since living in this house, since living in Virginia, have had an eastern bluebird on my actual bird feeder. They have been in the yard. I've seen them on rare occasion, and eastern bluebirds are gorgeous. They have like this beautiful blue feathers on their back, and their stomach is like the same color as a robin's tummy, so it's like that orangey color. They're just absolutely stunning. And I was like, okay, I gotta go get some birdseed with mealworms or waxworms. I don't remember if it's mealworms or waxworms. And so I went and filled up the feeders yesterday. Oh man, look at the stitch definition on that. That is beautiful. I really like this. Anyway, I know I had a point. I had a point to the story. But the birds are out there singing. They haven't even discovered that I put food in the bird feeder yet. My windows aren't open yet, but they will be because it's going to be beautiful today. I'm so grateful. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is cloudy and gloomy looking, but it's warm enough to sit outside. And that's all I care about. I'm just doing another row of double crochet, and then I'm going to come on and I'm going to attach the yarn. Well, I'm not going to attach the yarn. I'm going to pull up some loops and attach my knitting needle straight to the crochet. A lot of people were surprised that you could do that. And so I'm like, all right, well, we might as well, instead of doing this and frogging it all and then, you know, restarting, I can have the crochet and the knit swatch in one piece. And you guys can really see side by side what it looks like. And then I don't have to frog and do all that again. But I do always frog at the end so I can show you guys whether it frogs or not. See, it split a little bit right there, but not a lot. Now these needles that I'm pulling out, I'm not advertising for these. I will put an Amazon link to these below because I have been asked about these before. These are the tipping points from Susan Bates. They're good needles. I got them clearanced out for $3 at Tuesday Morning like a while ago. They're kind of weighted on the end. But they have, you can change out the points to be different sharpness. So there's a dull, I think this is the medium, and then there's a super sharp. And then it's got the little thing to tighten it. Just like interchangeables. And this helps with, yarns. If you have a splitty yarn, you can change out how sharp your tips are. And it can help you. I'm just tightening that to make sure we don't have any issues. It helps deal with splitting and all that good stuff. So I really like these needles. They're fun to play with. All right, so I'm just gonna pull up a loop and cast on this way. I'm gonna pull up a loop for every stitch. I am totally awkward with straight knitting needles because I'm not used to having all that extra back there. So it keeps hitting the table. But since my table is padded, it's not making a dink dink noise. What did I do with my other needle? Needle, where are you? There we are. All right. There we have it. Yeah, this is awkward holding it over the table with these needles. Problems. Because I'm too close to the table. Maybe I should pull my camera up a little higher. Because usually, this is a problem with tutorials that sometimes I have. When I knit and crochet, I hold everything like close to my body. And now I have to hold it out away from my body and like hover my hands in the air and all that good stuff. I'm going to do a couple of rows of stockinette. And then maybe I'll do a little ribbing at the end to see. So far, no problems. So far, no problems. Get that out of my way. God, I feel like I'm all thumbs today. I can see where a smaller knitting needle would work for this. Like a 3.25 or whatever it recommended. I could totally see that. It's feeling a little floppy to me. I also don't, unless I'm making socks in the round, I don't generally work, or a hat in the round, I don't generally work with yarn this thin knitting. I swear I don't knit this slow. I feel so awkward. It's these knitting needles. I should have just stuck with the dang circulars. Especially since I'm on the board. Oh, we're splitting a little bit there, but I think that was just user error. I don't think that was the yarn. This weather's kind of crazy lately. I don't know if the weather's the same where you are, but like it's going up and down, like 70s and then 20s and then 70s and then 20s and 70s and 20s. I'm like, come on, I'm so ready. I'm so ready for spring and summer and just beautiful weather. This yarn just feels so nice in my hands. So nice. There we go. By George, I think she's got it. Beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Yarn, it's true. Yeah, I'm so glad Mr. Cinnamon saw this. I mean, I like Hobby Lobby's yarns, don't get me wrong. I don't very often go in there and just come out with yarn. A lot of times I just go look and see what's new. That's why you guys don't see a whole lot of Hobby Lobby yarn hauls unless it's on clearance. I don't tend to buy yarn from Hobby Lobby very often. I think part of the problem is they have so much yarn on their shelves. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's actually a good thing to have that many options. But for me personally, the way my brain works, I find it very overwhelming. And unless the colors are screaming at me, I don't go and just touch everything. Because, I mean, germs. Let's face it. I've become a little bit of a germaphobe since the pandemic started, you know? I think we all kind of have. And this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's do a little ribbing. So when I go in there, like a lot of times I feel like I'm missing yarn because I get overwhelmed by how much is in there. And I think that's where it's beneficial to have other people with me to help point out things that I have missed. And this is just a quality that I have very recently learned about myself, about the overwhelming stimulation of too many things. I have a hard time looking at catalogs or books with too much on the page. My brain just gets like scrambled almost. I have a hard time going into stores where there's too much product on the shelf, you know? Because I can't focus. Like it starts to all just become scrambled. And I'm starting to learn this about myself, mostly since little man has been diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm starting to learn more about it. And seeing signs in myself that he has, you know? It's an interesting experience. Oops. I split it a little. I'm splitting it a little bit right there. There we go. I got it. We're good. We're good. I got it. I might have to open my windows today. The wind chime's calling me. I hope you're enjoying this moment of peace brought to you by Cinnamon Stitches and her soft, super soft yarn. Wow. Yeah, it's a little splitty. A little splitty, depending on what I'm doing with my knitting needles. Crochet, not so much. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'll probably crochet with this and not knit with it. But I mean, if you're used to these skinny yarns, you might not have a problem. But I'm struggling a little bit. Just a little bit, though. Not enough to just, I mean, I'm also knitting out away from my body in an awkward fashion. Keep that in mind. But yeah. This still feels really soft on my skin. Like very, very soft on my skin. Yeah, I'm going to say I would rather crochet this than knit it. But it is beautiful. It is beautiful. It is working out beautiful. I think this is too pretty to be a hat or socks or anything like that. So this would make a beautiful shawl. A beautiful shawl. Or a sweater. This would make a really pretty sweater. A lightweight cardigan. Yeah, I'm going to be done after this row. I'm going to be done. I'm not enjoying the knitting aspect of this. Crochet all day, baby. I messed up right there, but that's all right. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's get nice and close and up close and personal to this beautiful, beautiful yarn. I'll even bring my light down a little bit. Maybe not that much. Beautiful. It has a very nice feel to it worked up. It's got beautiful stitch definition. Do you see how, like, you see the stitches? Like, the stitches stand out. And I think the stitches stand out because, and I'm noticing this with specific yarns, when you get this type of a twist on the yarn, I've known this with a few of the yarns that I have worked with that have that type of twist in it. It's got like a really good twist in it, so it makes the stitches just really show up, especially in crochet. And it works out. Like, here's the regular stockinette, and then here's a little bit of the ribbing. It's pretty. It's very pretty. Yeah. And it's so soft. I like this yarn a lot. And here's a test. Frogging with knitting is way different, so we're going to wait till we get to the crochet to see if it frogs good. Yeah, you can see that. No problem. It's not snagging at all. At all. And it's so buttery soft. So yeah, I give this raving reviews. This is beautiful. Beautiful yarn. It is very soft. If you can work with a thin weight yarn, I recommend trying this yarn. Or at least if you go to a Hobby Lobby anytime soon, just find this yarn on the shelf and give it a nice squish. Give it a nice little stroke. Like, it's so nice to touch. I just want to touch it all day long. It's so nice. I'm definitely going to be making myself a shawlette or something out of this. It's just so pretty. So pretty. Now, this is pretty for Easter, you know, springtime colors. Yeah, highly recommend this. I don't know what else to say besides you have to touch this yarn. You have to. It's so soft and buttery smooth. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching another yarn review here on Cinnamon Stitches. Yarntopia is available at Hobby Lobby. Check it out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Happy Wednesday. The prizes are getting better, guys. The prizes are getting better. Today's prize is a Furls $25 gift certificate. So, $25 gift certificate at Furls. You can buy some yarn. They have beautiful yarns on Furls. They have Whims Merino and Wander. These are both nice. The Whims Merino is merino wool. The Wander is acrylic. I love both of these yarns so much. You could buy some of these with your $25 gift card, or you could put it towards swirly. They also have wood hooks. Let me grab it. Furls has wood. They have resin. And $25 is not going to buy you an Odyssey, but that's $25 towards one of these Odysseys. If you've always wanted one, you get $25 off with the gift card. So, it is my favorite hooks. So, I'm featuring my favorite hooks in this giveaway for today. So, all you have to do, and this is not sponsored by Furls. Furls doesn't know I'm doing this. This is not sponsored by YouTube or anyone else. This is coming out of my pocket. So, I wanted to treat you guys with some of my favorite things this week. Today, it is a Furls gift certificate. You can buy whatever you want. You buy yarn, you buy hooks, doesn't matter. So all you have to do is put anything in the description box below. And yeah, you can enter to win. No problem. Now, I don't know if Furls ships internationally, but if you know for a fact that you can get a Furls hook internationally and they accept the gift card wherever you're at, you can enter in this giveaway for the gift card because it doesn't cost me extra shipping. But just keep in mind, I have no idea how international shipping works with Furls, so that's something you have to be prepared to look into before you enter this giveaway. But I will absolutely give you a Furls gift card to anyone in the world if you want, if you can get it, and if you know the stuff, all the rules, whatever. Furls Day, happy giveaway week.